You know what? I feel like keeping the speculation ball rolling. SuperMarioT here is gonna make more predictions, but not for Smash this time. This time, let's talk about Mario. We're approaching the final quarter of 2019 and will soon head into 2020. Looking at the Switch in 2020, there really isn't much outside of Breath of the Wild 2 announcements and maybe a release, and Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. 2020 otherwise for the Switch looks kind of empty. While we've yet to even get close to it, this leaves room to guess and speculate. So here I am, building this video off a tweet I made a while ago. Keep in mind, this is only speculative. None of what I'll predict or say will be guaranteed to happen. These are all educated guesses I'll be making that can easily not happen. This is all my opinion, and if you feel this won't happen, that's perfectly fine as well. But the big prediction I'm making is 2020 will be a big year for Mario fans because of not one, not two, but 3 games I think will either release or at least be announced during the year. What games am I predicting? Well, you at least have an idea if you've been following me between Twitter and YouTube this past month or so. First big Mario game that'll be revealed in 2020 is what I believe to be a new Paper Mario. If you look at the Paper Mario release schedules, you may see as to why. The first Paper Mario was revealed at Nintendo Space World in late '97 and released in August of 2000. Assuming upon its reveal it was either a logo or some type of tech demo and how much time it took after, it's reasonable to think the first game was being developed for at least 3 years or so, at max 4. Time travel almost 4 whole years later, we got the release of the Thousand Year Door in mid-July of 2004. While it wasn't revealed until 2003 at the Game Developers Conference, that's still almost 4 whole years after the first game. Fast forward to April of 2007, we got the very first Mario game to release on the Wii, and that was Super Paper Mario. Super was planned to be a GameCube title, as it reused Thousand Year Door's engine and made several tweaks to it between the style and the gameplay, but made a silent move to the Wii instead. As a result, the next installment came relatively quickly, only 2 years and 10 months, not even 3 years after the Thousand Year Door. Then it took a while for us to get a new game after that. Over 5 years later wasn't anything until Sticker Star released in November of 2012. While I can't say specifically or accurately why Sticker Star took the longest to develop, it could be because of the 3DS's hardware, because the game was designed like the previous entries only to change styles and structure mid-development, or other potential factors. It's the only major outlier as far as timescale goes, even then by not a massive amount. Almost immediately upon the completion of that game, the development team decided to work on Color Splash, which adopted very similar ideas and gameplay structure, and that game released October of 2016, almost 4 whole years later again. Looking at the timeline, most Paper Mario games on average take just under 4 years to develop. By next March, it will have been 4 whole years since Color Splash was first revealed, and since then the development team has had a bunch of time and loads of responses to decide on what kind of Paper Mario it'll be. Intelligent Systems is a massive studio that works on Fire Emblem, Paper Mario, and the WarioWare games. They've been at work with making Fire Emblem Three Houses these past few years, and that game released almost 2 months ago. Not only that, but Koei Tecmo, another gaming studio, was revealed to have helped with that project pretty significantly. So even with as big as Intelligent Systems is, they didn't send a whole lot of their team into that game. At least not a whole lot to where they'd struggle with developing more than one game. I think the next Paper Mario will be teased next spring and released somewhere around fall or winter of 2020. As for what kind of Paper Mario, I'm going to make a bold assumption and assume they've listened to all the feedback. If you look at the other Nintendo games within this past year, some executives and studios are aware of what fans want out of certain games. There was a massive outcry for online multiplayer with friends in Super Mario Maker 2, and a few months after fans made their voices heard, we got word that online multiplayer with friends will come in an update. Not sure when specifically, we've yet to get it, but they at least said and confirmed it's coming. Luigi's Mansion 3 is being produced by the same guy who's one of the big dogs behind Paper Mario Sticker Star and Color Splash, Kensuke Tanabe, albeit is taking more of a supervision role as producer for Luigi's Mansion 3, and addressed how in Dark Moon, fans were unhappy with the lack of portrait ghosts along with the mission structure, and Tanabe revealed in an interview that they are returning to the traditional format like the first game, along with returning ghosts of the same vein as portrait ghosts. Even if Luigi's Mansion's criticisms weren't as loud as Paper Mario's, 3 is addressing them regardless, and again, like I've mentioned in the past videos, this is the same man that's one of the big shots currently taking the helm with Sticker Star and Color Splash, though Taro Kudo and Naohiko Aoyama were the directors for both. While Sticker Star didn't necessarily get much negative criticism upon its release, Color Splash did, before and after, and man was there a lot to say by many fans. There was no way Nintendo and Intelligent Systems missed it like a lot of us haven't. Between all the video essays, March of 2016, and throughout that year with each reveal, the game's release, even some parts after in 2017, and even recently with the whole hashtag remaster Thousand Year Door thing, it'd be utterly amazing if they didn't take a single minuscule cursory glance at the internet and Paper Mario fans or consumers and guess which type of Paper Mario they wanted. I think it's somewhat safe to expect the next installment to try and return to the roots of 64 and Thousand Year Door, but I could easily be setting myself up for a second disaster. The next prediction is one you guys I know have been making for a while now, and that's Super Mario Odyssey 2. Looking at how well that game's performed, how it's become the best-selling 3D Mario, how its comrade Breath of the Wild is getting a sequel as well with it getting very similar reception and praise, how it's the best-selling Zelda game, how it got a sequel because the team thought of so many ideas during development and DLC that they decided to pour them all in a sequel, how Super Mario Galaxy 2 was created because of that exact same reason, and how many leftover or unused ideas and potential Odyssey has between concept art, gameplay structure, worlds, and other ideas fans came up with. There's so many reasons as to why Odyssey getting a sequel is more reasonable than one would assume. Even the timing isn't far out of the realm of possibility. Super Mario Galaxy 1 came out in November of 2007, with Galaxy 2 releasing May of 2010. 2.5 years and that game got a sequel, because of it using the same engine, a bunch of leftover ideas at play, and Galaxy selling and doing really well. They could do the exact same thing with Odyssey. I made a long video discussing the potential of what a Super Mario Odyssey 2 can do, and come up with a lot of ideas and thoughts. I recommend checking that video out, but a Super Mario Odyssey 2 in next year doesn't sound unlikely at all. The game will turn 2 in a month and a half from this upload state, so I could see them building off Odyssey's engine and use any leftover ideas they had, along with new ones, as the game could be revealed either spring of next year as well, or the most likely scenario E3 of 2020. With a holiday release window, or a potential 2021 release. For all we know, 2020 could be a repeat of 2017, and we might, keyword might, get sequels for both Breath of the Wild and Odyssey in the same year, at least not far off from each other releasing. Granted, we don't know how far Breath of the Wild 2 is in development. It wrapped up its DLC in 2017, but we don't know when the sequel started development. Going off the reveal announcement, and how much was shown, I can only guess either upon the DLC's completion, which would be late 2017, or a little later in early 2018. Seemingly reusing Breath of the Wild's engine. Assuming in Odyssey 2 we get almost the same kind of announcement, where it states it's in development and we get very similar teasers, where we could see the game under the same engine with several details, it could be out from either under a year or a year and a half. Granted, we didn't see Odyssey until the Switch's first tease in late 2016, an actual trailer coming 9 months before it released. I feel if it gets announced within the first half of 2020, it could stand to get a 2020 release. If it doesn't look far enough into development though, possibly later. And the final prediction I'm making is we're going to get one of 2 Mario spin-offs. One possible spin-off is a sequel to Super Mario Party. They used to pump out Mario Parties every year on the Nintendo 64 and GameCube, and Super Mario Party is a Mario Party that sold very well. It's a game that came out last fall and was met with positive reception with some mixed grievances. The primary issues being the lack of creativity in the boards and the lack of number of said boards. It's gone back to its traditional formula, but between the surprisingly low number of boards, their size, and ways to improve the amount of content and minigames in the game, it was ripe to get DLC, yet it never got any, which leaves the impression they'll likely make a sequel. Again, like Odyssey, Super Mario Party is a gorgeous game that it can easily reuse its engine for later releases, and all the game needed was more boards, bigger and more creative ones, and some tweaks and changes to some side mode structures, like the rhythm game mode could have easily fit in the minigames, yet they didn't. Super Mario Party could see more cycled releases again since we got a Mario Party within 2 years of the system, and I can imagine that would be announced somewhere between E3 2020 or Fall 2020 and released for the holiday of that year too. If not Super Mario Party, then it's gotta be a sports title. Tennis Aces wrapped up DLC a few months ago, and that's another game that could have used some DLC for similar reasons as Super Mario Party. I'm not saying we're getting another Mario Tennis, but rather one of the other sports titles, being golf, strikers, or baseball. Golf seems the likeliest, as tennis and golf are the only series that continue to get games after the Wii, and a Mario Golf game would be inevitable, especially since Camelot makes both those and the tennis games. Strikers and baseball I'm going to discuss in another video, but in short, seems unlikely since it's been forever since we last saw those games get sequels. And I can bet Mario Golf on Switch could get announced within a similar time frame as the hypothesized Super Mario Party 2, but that will probably release in 2021. Between Mario Golf Switch and Super Mario Party 2, I'd probably make a safer bet on Super Mario Party 2. Once again, these are predictions, not hard and facts. I'm only making some educated guesses for future video games. I can easily be wrong as I'm just one fan in the crowd of millions making guesses. That being said, I feel there's valid reason to expect a new Paper Mario next year, Super Mario Odyssey 2 next year, and even either a new Mario Party or a Mario sports game next year. In my gut, it feels like 2020 could be a big year for Mario fans, especially 3D Mario and Paper Mario fans if all goes well. Do you agree or disagree? Am I setting myself up way too high to be disappointed, or is there some palpability with my reasoning? Tell me. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for more Mario content, Let's Plays, and other Nintendo videos. Stay super.